What's up, everybody? Adventure South Life is back with an aviation vlog today. We're going to cut right to the chase here. As you can see in the title, we're dealing with a Macho pilot here. So as I am on my base leg turning to final, we're going to show you what went down today. So on my last flight, I really struggled with some crosswind corrections and landings. And today's not much different. We've got a crosswind again. Thankfully, it wasn't as windy, but in my head as a new pilot, I'm really trying to focus on all the things I've learned from the last experience to try to make better on this experience. As I'm landing, I see this plane in the corner of the taxiway about to obviously come out on the runway, but there has been no calls. Nothing at all from the pilot as far as taking off on runway at 18, and you can see him right here in the corner circled in red. Now, as I'm landing, I'm trying to keep an eye on him, making sure he's clear because he hasn't said anything, watching all my gauges and trying to do what I'm supposed to make a landing. So as we approach, I come in a little too hard and flare a little bit too late, so it's a pretty hard landing, but I guess it still counts. And we make the touchdown, go ahead, carb heat back in, throttle all the way up, flaps up to 10 degrees, and then we're back off in the air again. At this point, I still have heard nothing from the pilot as far as taking off. So we've got a positive gain in altitude, so I go ahead and put the flaps all the way up. Everything's looking good. Still listening for a radio call, but I assume the pilot is just going through his pre-takeoff checklist and doing what he's supposed to do the right way, the proper way that I'm being taught right now. But as I'm coming up to 700 feet and getting ready to make my crosswind turn, we can discuss real quickly the 5 hazardous attitudes. And the 5 hazardous attitudes, if you're a new pilot, are anti-authority, impulsivity, invulnerability, macho, and resignation. And today I think we're talking a little bit about macho for sure, and maybe anti-authority. This is a uncontrolled airport, and he's obviously not too concerned about getting in trouble from a tower. So as I'm paying attention to my speed, my altitude, and I'm turning left downwind, my instructor is actually looking out and about, just looking for that plane. We still haven't heard any radio calls that he's taken off, but she sees him right here. Obviously, she's like, watch out, that dude just took off and he's cutting across the pattern. If you zoom in where the red is, you'll see the speck, and it doesn't look close. And obviously, he's not super close, but it is closer than it appears in this GoPro footage. But we never heard that he was taking off. He never made any communications. He took off right behind us, banked hard left at a low altitude to come up and cut across the pattern, so he didn't have to worry about the usual, I guess, textbook ways to exit an airport. So this experience just put things into perspective that, I'm thankful to have, and that is that all airport communications aren't necessarily being done the right way, especially in an uncontrolled airport. This guy was cutting across the pattern, and it could potentially lead to a really dangerous situation. So made me realize I need to always be looking out the windows, left, right, up, down, and just always scanning the airspace to make sure that there's no issues ahead of me, or something that isn't being communicated that I can at least still be aware of, and make sure I'm making the right decisions and putting myself in the best place to have a successful flight. So I've put all that behind me. Now it's time to concentrate and fly the plane. I'm making my base turn to final, and just concentrating on all the various aspects of landing, speed and flaps, and making sure the glide path and altitude is the right, and the pitch of the plane. I'm not going too fast. Obviously, if you're a pilot, this is nothing new for you, but definitely for me, it's a whole new experience. And taking off is very easy, but landing is surely the hardest part. of the flight. So enjoy the rest of this landing here, and let's see if I do better than the first time you saw. Alright guys, that was a successful landing. Adventure South Life is out until the next video. Y'all make sure y'all get outside. Like and subscribe if you're interested in following more content.